back to the channel, people. Welcome back to KGX to the Z TV. Here today with a little Liverpool Chelsea match preview, as you can see, Garage Talk style. It's been a minute, right? International break came. Before that, we drew with Forest 1-1. They had the red card. About 20 minutes left, counting extra time. We couldn't break them down. Had some good opportunities, just couldn't finish. Cuckoo had a header. João Felix had a couple shots, so forth, right? But yeah, relatively quiet international window for us. A lot of talk always, as there always is, around the English national team. We had a lot of folks off. Luckily, everyone came back, knock on wood, healthy, which is always nice, and something that used to just always derail us, whether or not it was African Cup of Nations or friendlies or just regular, qualifiers, right? Various federation qualifiers, North, South, Europe, Asia, Africa, of course, right? But yeah, going into this one, for the first time in a long time, I'll be honest with you, I can't even remember the last time that what I'm about to say was a reality. But for the first time in quite some time, we are going in with no injuries. Everyone is fit. There's, of course, varying degrees of fitness, right? We got Reece James back, but obviously he's probably not ready to go from the start. And everything that we've seen from Maresca and pretty much Maresca, right? It's totally different under Poch, but under Maresca has been to not rush players back, to really manage their minutes. He did it when Neto got here. He's done it with folks like Cole Palmer not being in, and Fofana not being in the Conference League squad and so forth. So he's done a really good job of sort of, all right, you've got a knock. Let's get you back to 100%, build your fitness levels, reintegrate you into the team. So I don't expect Reece James to play from the start. Don't expect Lavia, who's fit now, to play from the start. Although, if you gave me my choice, and we'll get into the lineups in a little bit, but if you gave me a choice, that's who I might want to have there. But yeah, apart from that, everyone's fit for us. For them, of course, the big one for them is they're missing Allison, right? I think he's out for a couple months with a hamstring injury that he picked up right before the last international one. But they've got Kelleher. He's beat us before, I think twice. Actually, maybe 3 times in finals. I'll have to go back and I'll have to look. But I know he beat us last year in the Carabao Cup. And I want to say, I mean, he's the best number 2 in the league, hands down. So losing Allison, while it hurts because Allison is probably the best number 1 in the Premier League over the last 4 or 5 years, maybe. But having a capable backup like that, like I feel like even though Allison's out, Liverpool fans will feel like with Kelleher, it's not a huge drop off. Maybe even less bonehead mistakes. Allison, like all modern keepers are, they're capable of a bonehead mistake here and there. But some, obviously with Sanchez, some more than others, right? But yeah, other than that, I think they're fully healthy too. I think maybe McAllister. I know he had carrying a slight knock before the window, but I think he played for Argentina. I always wonder, or not wonder, but I always worry about those folks that are coming back from South American qualifiers. One part hand, because it's a very long ride, and secondly, because they usually play later in the week. Like they'll usually play that Wednesday slot, so that's travel Thursday. If you've got a game Saturday, which luckily we didn't, but if you do, that means only Friday. So they have Friday to kind of get their bodies back in order, get get readjusted to the time zone and all that stuff, right? I know they're professional footballers and athletes and they're tip top shape and condition, but they're still people, right? They still have to. They might not be 100%. They might be 90%. Whereas someone like us, regular folks, the difference would be a lot bigger. But not to get into sidetracked any of that, but I'd imagine that all the South Americans that are coming back will probably play, and we'll get into the lineups since that's a nice little segue and transition, right? So for us, definitely be Sanchez in goal. Right back will probably be Gusto. Right side center back Fafana and Cucurella suspended, so Fafana will probably make way to Tosin, and then we'll have Colwell at left center back, and then Renato Vega getting a huge opportunity to go up against arguably the best right winger ever to play in the Premier League. Stat wise, probably hands down, right? But that's if you're looking at where ways that Liverpool can hurt us, and we'll kind of get into that stuff in a bit. But you're looking at not historically, but with this squad, with our main 11, so that's Fafana in instead of Tosin, that's Cucurella in instead of Vega. Our midfielders are short. Our attackers, bar Nico, are relatively short. So we're not good on set pieces. I don't think we're good on aerial duels. Sanchez can be a little shaky on crosses. So having a back line of that height, right? Tosin's tall. Tosin can head a lot, and he hasn't played as much in the league, so maybe that's some of the reasons why he's definitely better in the air than Fofana. Colwell's decent in the air, and then Vega's obviously much taller than Cucurella, and we've seen Cucurella get dominated before in the air, so gives us some height there, right? Midfield is the big question, right? Because if ideally, I think for a big game like this on the road, where unlike past years with Klopp, Slot is going to want to control the ball, control the tempo, and things like that, and then speed the tempo up when they get into the wide areas, when they try to isolate 1v1 their wide players versus the opposition's wide defenders, fullbacks. So ideally, I think you would want someone like that who can kind of break up the play a little bit better. And even though Lavia is not like your traditional six, he's really a box to box, but we haven't seen him sort of unleashed, and I don't say unleashed, but played a little bit higher up in the midfield because one, he just hasn't been available. And the game that he was available, it was versus Man City, so we know we were always going to get pushed back. So we went with like a three-man midfield in that one. But yeah, I think it'll probably be Enzo, Caicedo, with coming back from South America again, and then Palmer in the 10. Right wing, probably Madueke. Not probably. I think it will be Madueke. Up top, Nico. Left side, Sancho. He's been there for the last 2 weeks training. Pretty much our standard, or what we've been going with in terms of our starting 11, bar the 2 suspensions. So Liverpool, Kelleher, Trent, Konate, Van Dijk, Robertson, Gravenberch in the 6. Probably, I mean, if McAllister's fit, McAllister, Szoboszlai, Salah, Jota, Luis Diaz. So pretty much they're starting their best 11 that they could field if everyone was healthy, bar Allison, against our best 9 at the moment. Probably over the course of the season too. Although you could make maybe a slight argument for Neto over Sancho, just because Neto's been here a little bit longer. When I say a little bit, like 4 games in the league. But yeah, probably very strong starting 11s in terms of what a team can put out there. My key concerns. If someone would ask me what am I afraid of? Obviously, set pieces. We've seen it before in the cup final. Van Dijk getting the header. Konate is also super strong in the air. Gravenberch is tall. But those two center backs, I mean, they're not only tall, they're good headers of the ball, but they're also very good athletes, strong. as well as quick, as well as have a good leap. And with us with Tosin in there, I feel a little bit better. With Vega in there, I feel a little bit better. I am very worried about Vega. Huge step up. I like his. There's a lot of aspects of him that I like. What always makes me nervous, and what I've seen, and this is granted a small sample size, is his ability to defend in 1v1 situations. I saw a little bit in the City game when he came on late, where he's diving into challenges and he's just getting beat. Even though Salah's not the best dribbler, right? He's not gonna step overs. He's not gonna kind of do that. Sort of use his body weight and things like that. He's more of just drop off a shoulder and then go. But he is an incredible big game player, incredible at Anfield. And having someone like Vega, you've got to always know where he is. So if he plays, I'd imagine Gusto would be the one inverting, which isn't bad. I mean, we've seen Vega play there from the start in that six. So I'm always going to be hesitant, right? Because it's a huge game. Liverpool top of the league, and it's at Anfield. He's never gonna. He hasn't up to this point in his career probably played in a situation and an atmosphere and environment like he's going to play on tomorrow on Sunday. So that's of huge concern. Wherever he plays, even if he inverts, I still be worried about him. But Gusto there, that's tough because Gusto this year 1v1 defending hasn't been that great, and then you've got probably the most informed left winger in the league in Luis Diaz on the left hand side, who is finally showing that end product that would take him from being like a good winger who's tricky, he's very hardworking, very techy, good with both feet, to like a great winger. And he is, obviously consistency aside and things like that, but he is on that kind of form right now. And him versus Gusto, we're gonna have to give him help. So Madueke, who's to his credit has put in a lot more defensive work than he has in years past, even under Poch, who loved people that just ran up and down, right? So Madueke is going to have to be locked on. That left-hand side, Sancho, who's also done a pretty decent job when it comes to the defensive side of the game. He's actually impressed me. I didn't know his work ethic and his work rate was that good. And maybe it wasn't on other teams because he was expected to carry more of the load, and here he's sort of just finding his feet and things like that. But then he's also a new player under a new coach who knows he's going to be coming here next year on a permanent basis. He's not going to want to. He's going to want to start off good, and if those bad habits do start to creep in, that's going to be after, and hopefully by then, we will figure it out whether or not we're getting Jadon Sancho, the Man United Jadon Sancho, or he's more improved because he's playing with a little bit more freedom, maybe in a little bit better system. A lot of those things are kind of long-term conjecture based off of how Maresca and how the season goes and things like that. But it's no secret that Sancho looks like he's enjoying life over here a little bit more. But yeah, just sometimes you just think about it and just like, man, Anfield. I can't remember the last time we won there. I mean, obviously the Demba Ba goal, Gerrard slip, but that's just a place where even our best teams, that always what always kind of gives me angst is our best teams used to go there and struggle against some Liverpool teams that weren't very good in the grand scheme of things, especially compared to how good Liverpool had been over the last 7-8 years, however long Klopp was there, I think 7. I've seen us go there with really good teams and lose. I've seen us lose in the Champions League there, cups, and it's a place that it can get to you, it can get to these young players. Some of them played there last year where Liverpool really handled us towards the right before like that last final stretch. But even, like I said, even the most experienced players, City players, Arsenal, you know how difficult it is. And I know they lost there at home this year against Forest, who we just played, but they're still top of the league. Conceded two. Uh, just players that are on really really good form. Salah's putting up numbers even if he's not playing up to his old or his standard. But you got Jota up top, who's a really 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 good finisher. You can't give him any kind of daylight. Got Trent at right back that you're gonna have to keep an eye on, see what he's gonna do. Is he gonna play more of like in that 8 channel, or is he going to play a little bit wider, maybe push Mo a little bit more central? So they have a lot of ways that they can, and a lot of quality that they can hurt us. Uh, if you ask me my confidence level going in there, I'll always say no matter, unless you need to get 3 points and it's at the end of the year, getting out of there with a draw, with a point, is perfectly fine with me. I don't even care if it's a bad performance. I don't care how we do it. I don't care if we go down to 10 men and we just soak up pressure and just scumbag something. Any kind of result for us is a good result. Let's get that straight. We are not a title contender, and that's not trying to play down the start that we've had, because we've had a pretty good start. But there's a reason why teams like us, teams like Villa, teams like Spurs are kind of up and down and things like that, because we've got the quality to be up there in that top four, but we've also got the inconsistency to not really take that fourth spot or that third spot, or so forth. But yeah, just give me any kind of point. What do I think will happen? Um, I think it's a. If I had to put money down, I'd say 2-1 Liverpool. Like I said, I'm a realist. I'll always tell you my honest opinion. Doesn't mean that I'm not rooting for Chelsea any less than I will be tomorrow, or today, depending on where you're seeing this. But if I'm just looking at the teams and where they are, the quality, the experience, the know-how, the physicality, you have to get, and then being at home too, you have to edge that all to Liverpool. So, um, yeah, that's the prediction. I hope I'm wrong. I'll be there either way. So, whew, yeah, it should be a good one, man. It should be a good one. One thing about us is we're always entertaining. Liverpool still got a lot of entertaining players. No matter if their style's more reserved and dialed back a little bit, but either way, make sure you hit that like, make sure you hit the subscribe, and then check us out. Should be back with a post match, a little post match analysis review. Peace.